So today I'm interviewing Rick Ryan. Most of everybody in Brunswick knows you as Mr. Rick.
That's right.
Thank you for meeting with me today. So Rick, let's first just talk about what inspired you to become a school bus driver and what do you love most about it?
Well, what inspired me to become a bus driver was my bus driver when I was a kid.
Okay.
My father passed away when I was 10 years old, and John Ryder was his name, and he kind of took me under his wing. And he used to give me $1.50 a week, a dollar bill and a 50-cent piece.
Okay.
I was the first one on the bus and the last one off the bus, and I'd put the windows up, pick up the trash, clean the bus up, change the thing. That was a lot of money back in the 70s.
I bet it was, yeah.
And he was a great man. I knew him till the day he died.
Oh, that's
And,
awesome.
When I became a bus driver, I would see him. So he inspired me to be a bus driver.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Rick, what's your favorite part of your daily route or your day in general?
To me, they're all favorite. I mean, it's just, I love the kids, you know. When you've been on the same route for a long time, when I first started, I jumped around.
Okay.
But I've been on this route since 2008. So I've had kids from kindergarten all the way through school, and now their parents are at my bus stop putting their kids on the bus. I even had one that rode my bus before he was born, because his mom was pregnant and I should go on the bus.
That's awesome.
But I just love the kids, the families. To me, it's not like a job.
Yeah.
It's, they say if you do something you love, you don't work a day in your life.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about
That's really cool. So
I just love it.
You've gotten to know your students, as you said, maybe even before they were born, all the way up through high
it.
school.
Oh, it's just amazing. Yeah. I still see them all the time.
Yep.
They'll come give me a hug. And yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
That's awesome.
I just love it.
Rick, how do you build relationships with the students that you bring back and forth to school?
Well, like I said earlier, on my route, I've known them for a long time, so it helps. So I kind of build it through respect. I have respect for them. They have respect for me. And then when they're on the bus, they don't want to disappoint you. So if I get a new student, which I always get new students, I try to do the same thing. I get to know the student, like if they get in trouble because they're touching somebody else or saying bad language or something, I'll put them in the front seat and then I'll start talking to them. And they'll say, hey, Mr. Rick, when can I go up back? I say, when you show me that you deserve to.
Yep.
Never put a deadline on it, because then they got nowhere to go to get better.
That's
So
great.
the way I do it is I try to encourage them to do better.
Yep.
If they bully somebody, you don't want to bully someone. Why would you? You really don't want to do that, do you?
Yeah.
I try to talk to them
You
like
set
that.
expectations.
Right
from the beginning.
A lot of times, if it's really bad, I'll keep the student on the bus after the other kids get off and talk. And it makes a big difference when they're not trying to show up in front of the other kids.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, safety's first, always. I mean, I have no wish-wash. You won't see my bus go down the road with kids standing up.
Yep.
Sit down. But yeah, I like to befriend the kids, and I know people say you shouldn't do that, but it sure works for me.
Works for you. Good. Do you have any memorable moments you want to share?
Yeah, well, years ago, so we used to take kindergarten, we'd go half a day. So
Okay.
we'd take in the AM and bring home the PM. So we only had the kindergarten, so you really got to know the kids. So I like to teach them their phone number and their address, so they knew what it was. This was before cell phones.
Yep.
And so they would teach it to them. They said, what's your address, Mr. Rick? Or what's your phone number? And I said, my phone number is 123-456-78910. I'd help them teach that.
Yep.
And my address was always the alphabet.
Yep.
So anyway, so I get to the bus stop one morning. Brandon's mom standing out there with her hand on her hip, with a kind of a grin on her face, and I go, good morning. And she says, good morning, Mr. Rick. We had an interesting weekend. I said, you did, huh? She says, yeah, Brandon, because Brandon was 5 years old. He said he was over in the corner, he took the phone off the hook, and he was down the phone. I said, oh, really? He said, who? I said, Brandon, who you calling? I said, Mr. Rick. And she says, why are you calling Mr. Rick? Oh, I just want to say hi, see how he's doing. And
That's awesome.
She says, how you know his number?
No,
You know what
yes.
to do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. That's awesome. Rick, can you just tell me why you'd recommend someone becoming a bus driver here in Brunswick?
Well, I'll tell you, here in Brunswick is one of the best because we work full time. A lot of schools you don't work. When I started, it took me 3 years to get a full-time job. Now we can't find any bus drivers to come in and get a good job. But if you love kids, bus driving is what you want to do. If you don't love kids, I really wouldn't recommend it because it can be really stressful if you don't do it the right way. That's just how I feel about it.
Yep.
Because I love the kids. I mean,
So kid first. If you enjoy being around students, children, You
Yeah.
enjoy that safety. We'll teach you how to be a bus driver. But first and foremost, you got to like kids.
That's how I feel about it. Because people who don't, they're really miserable driving a bus. And, people say to me all the time, "How do you drive a bus?" I go, "How could I not?"
All right.
That's how I feel about
Yeah,
it. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick.